Your miraculous healing is confirmed today, 40 days to a new life. The wind rustled gently through the quaint English village of St. Peter's, carrying whispers of hope like autumn leaves dancing in an invisible breeze. On this fateful evening, the heavy oak doors of St. Peter's Church swung open with a creak, letting in a symphony of light and the warm glow of flickering candles. Inside, the air pulsed with a sacred energy, an undercurrent of divine anticipation. A promise hung like a shimmering star over the congregation gathered for something extraordinary. Father Thomas stood at the altar, his heart heavy yet blazing with faith, ready to lead this evening of prayer, a beacon of hope for all. As the villagers settled into their pews, a glowing aura enveloped the room. They saw the hues dance within the flames of the candles, illuminated by tears of sorrows and joys alike. "Come," Father Thomas urged, his voice like warm honey, "open your hearts to the miracles awaiting us." A hush fell. It felt as though the air itself awaited divine revelation. Young Sarah, trembling with her burdens from a past tainted by addiction, felt every heartbeat like a drum echoing through her soul, calling her to surrender. She tried to steady her trembling hands and catch a glimpse of the transcendent. Gripped by a sense of urgency, she breathed in the sacred scent of wax and wood, pouring her heart into the communal prayer. As the weeks passed, something miraculous began to unfold. Each evening, they gathered under the glow of eternal faith, hands clasped in prayer. With every earnest prayer, burdens lightened. Mary's illness seemed to cast a shadow, yet flickers of hope sparked in the testimonies of change around them. People were softened and relationships healed. Just last week, Sarah, once lost in despair, stood up, eyes bright with faith, declaring, "I'm ready to walk free." Gasps echoed through the church. Her transformation became a stronghold for others, a sign that faith was alive. But then, one night, Father Thomas received a prophetic word, a divine message that coursed through him like an electric current. "Unimaginable healing awaits," the voice reverberated in his mind. Yet as these words took root in his heart, doubt, like a thief, threatened to despoil the promise. That same evening, Mary's breathing worsened, and hearts in the church grew heavy with despair. "Stay strong," Sarah urged, standing before the community, her voice steady and compelling. "Together we face our doubt. Together we seek direct intervention from the divine tonight." The villagers, spurred by a sense of collective urgency, gathered tightly that evening, hands trembling and eyes glistening as they pressed forward in prayer. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the voices crescendoed, a sudden wind swept through the church, extinguishing some candles but igniting hearts. Was it a breath of God? The atmosphere thickened with divine presence. Tears fell, voices rose, and desperation paved the way for miracles to break forth. Then, just as their voices reached a fever pitch, a phenomenon occurred. The church was flooded with brilliant white light. Gasps filled the air, and they beheld a radiant figure glowing at the altar. The prophetic promise echoed fiercely in their souls. Miracles were happening. But as the villagers clung to newfound hope, questions echoed through the sanctity of St. Peter's. How would Father Thomas navigate this new reality? What awaited them on the horizon of faith? As they gathered their coats and spirits, a gentle, sacred hum lingered. It was the sound of change, the promise of a life renewed, on the precipice of a divine mystery yet to unfold. The luminous figure before them, shimmering like the dawn breaking upon the horizon, held their breath in sacred unity. Father Thomas stepped forward, his heart pounding, a mix of awe and reverence flooding over him. As the light enveloped him, he felt the weight of his doubts dissolve like fog kissed away by sunlight. It was a moment, a divine moment that shifted their collective consciousness. "Look to the light," came a voice, resonant and filled with compassion, echoing softly around the church. This light brings healing, not just for the body, but for the spirit. The villagers stirred, eyes widened, and hearts raced with stirring faith. The figure, the embodiment of divine promise, gestured gracefully, and instinctively everyone fell to their knees, their hearts surrendered in worship. The air thickened with hope and the palpable presence of something far greater than themselves. Then, from the back of the church, a startled gasp shattered the silence. It was Mary, her breath having appeared labored just moments before. Yet now she rose, miraculously standing tall, bathed in the ethereal glow that surrounded the altar. The congregation was shaken from their reverie, witnessing a second miracle in their midst. Mary's frail spirit had been invigorated, her eyes sparkled, and for the first time in months she breathed deeply, drinking in the very essence of life. Tears streamed down Sarah's cheeks. "This is it! Our prayers are answered," she whispered, her voice a thread of joy weaving through the gathered assembly. The warmth of faith surged through the crowd, hearts suddenly infused with renewed strength and belief. Knowing their collective vulnerability was nothing more than an invitation for divine expression. But just as hope danced like flames in their eyes, shadows of uncertainty cloaked some. "Can this truly be our reality?" a voice from the back questioned, uncertainty carving through the otherwise jubilant atmosphere. "What if it is only momentary?" Father Thomas, feeling the weight of the gathering doubts, stepped forward, arms extended. "Let us remember, faith often walks hand in hand with uncertainty. It is through these moments of vulnerability that we find our deepest connections to the divine. Remember Sarah's transformation. Remember the promises spoken to us tonight." His voice rang clear and true, effortlessly weaving through the fears, inspiring everyone to lift their eyes once more towards that bright light. The glow intensified, and in that brilliance, several more figures emerged. Others who had been lost but were now returning, ignited by the transformation of faith sweeping through the congregation. Stories intertwined, the bonds of shared experiences created a tapestry of undeniable strength. Each miracle radiated like ripples across a lake, expanding hope and igniting spirits previously dimmed. Then another wave of divine energy swept through the crowd, a shiver of something inexplicable, one that sent tingles racing down spines and lifted hearts. In that moment, many felt a calling, a divine whisper fanning embers of desperate desire. They were being urged, called not only to receive healings, but to also step forth with their own journeys of transformation. "Will you face your fears?" a soft voice echoed in the silence. "Will you trust in the miraculous?" As the reality began to settle, the villagers exchanged glances filled with newfound courage. Silence descended upon St. Peter's, a sacred hush that beckoned each soul to reflect deeply. In their hearts, the essence of a choice lingered, the choice to act, to believe, and to be vessels of healing in their community. But darkness still danced at the edges of their gathering, with a lingering question: what would their next step be? As Father Thomas glanced at the radiant figure before him, hope mingling with apprehension, something stirred in him. A vision yet unfulfilled, a whisper yet unheard. The divine mystery awaited them, a path still veiled that promised even greater transformation. He took a breath, preparing to lead them further into this wholly unknown. What divine call was just beginning? What revelations awaited them in the darkness yet unturned? The answer shimmered on the horizon like the first light of dawn. The atmosphere in St. Peter's crackled with an electric energy, thick with anticipation. Father Thomas, while still enveloped in awe, felt a gentle push within him, a nudge, an urging to guide his people into the deep waters of faith. He raised his voice, steady and unwavering. "Friends, can you feel it? The light is not merely for our eyes, but for our very souls. We are called to embrace this moment and carry it forth. As he spoke, the radiant figure before them seemed to shake, shimmering with a deeper intensity, as if mirroring the heartbeat of every villager present. The light pulsated, creating an atmosphere that vibrated with expectancy. "Remember, miracles arise where faith blooms," he declared, his heart a drumbeat within his chest. It is our trust in the unseen that allows the miraculous to manifest. It is our collective healing that begins now. One by one, individuals stood. Each face reflected varying shades of courage, vulnerability, and a desperate yearning for the divine touch. Old friends clasped hands, and even the skeptics felt the pull of that brilliant light calling them forth. More than a gathering, they had become one body, united by a purpose that transcended their individual fears. Suddenly, the timid voice of young Jacob rose from the back, trembling with excitement. "Father Thomas, I want to paint it. The light, I mean. We need to show everyone what this feeling is like." His innocent enthusiasm brought a ripple of laughter and a wave of warmth through the crowd. "Yes, the beauty of this moment needs to be captured," Jenny agreed, her eyes glowing as she stepped into the circle formed around the altar. "Let it be a testament to everyone who walks through these doors." This sparked a flurry of ideas and voices, each person wanting to express their own revelation through art, song, dance, and words. This moment was becoming something extraordinary, alive with ideas, imprints of their experience. They all began to grasp that their transformation was not just personal. They were meant to share the vibrancy of their faith with the world. As they brainstormed, the shining figure radiated warmth, their presence a soothing balm upon the hearts of the villagers. The light seemed to stretch out, inviting them to visualize the expanse of possibilities, a gallery of their faith unveiled, expressions born from their miracles and gifts yet untouched. Yet even as the wave of enthusiasm washed over them, shadows flickered at the edges of their gathering. Sarah summoned her courage. "But what if we fail? What if we can't capture this light in words or colors? What if we lose it?" Her voice, though trembling, was laced with sincerity. The weight of vulnerability was palpable. Father Thomas offered gentle reassurance. "Failure is part of our journey. It is in stumbling that we learn to rise. Remember, miracles overshadow doubts, but they require a willingness to step into the unknown, to take a leap of faith." Behind him, the radiant figure began to pulse softly, sending strands of light dancing above them, illuminating the air like stars in the dark. The crowd gasped in wonder, feeling the weight of their fears lighten as hope rekindled. The ambience thrummed with potential, yet a new question lingered. With every miracle witnessed, were they also ready to embrace the challenges ahead? Could they transform from mere receivers to bold conduits of divine healing? The luminous presence beckoned them forward, promising further revelations yet unfathomed. Father Thomas took a step closer to that radiant light. All he needed to do was lean in, to fully grasp what was unfolding before them. What awaited them in this newfound endeavor? What transformations lay ahead in this journey of faith? The answers twinkled in the depths of the light, waiting eagerly to be explored. With hope spilling from their hearts, the villagers gathered around the altar, each individual basking in the deep glow that enveloped them. The light pulsed rhythmically, and it was as if time stood still, a sacred moment woven into their lives. Father Thomas stood at the forefront, feeling the vibration of their collective spirit. He realized this gathering transcended them. It was an invitation to dance with the divine. "Let us express our faith. Let us be the instruments of His glory," he encouraged. As the words left his lips, a wave of energy surged through the crowd. They nodded and exchanged smiles, a silent agreement that ignited within. Jenny proclaimed, "I'll bring my paints," She rushed home, her heart soaring, visualizing colors that would breathe life into the light. Jacob, too, felt the urgency of inspiration. He desperately wanted to capture this moment, not just so the locals could see it, but to share it beyond their village, reaching those whose hearts were heavy and struggling. Others, inspired by Jenny and Jacob, offered their talents. Poems, melodies, and dances began to swirl in the air like wildflowers caught in a gentle breeze. Each person was a brushstroke on the canvas of faith they were creating together. They had all become co-creators of miracles. The radiant figure shimmered with delight, showering them with encouragement. It was as if their efforts were lifting them higher, bonding them in an unbreakable tapestry of love and purpose. It recognized them not just as receivers, but as bearers of light, prepared to share it with the world. As they worked, Father Thomas stepped back, taking a moment to embrace the beauty of their unity. There was an undeniable power in their gathering, a sense of purpose that outweighed every fear. Yet uncertainty lingered in the hearts of Sarah and a few others who still hesitated. "What if no one understands what we are trying to show?" Sarah voiced her concern once more. "What if they do not see what we've seen?" Father Thomas approached her, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. Faith doesn't need understanding at first. Sometimes it simply needs courage. Courage to step into the light, even when shadows flicker nearby. The warmth of his words wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. At that moment, the light brightened, stretching out like golden arms, enveloping them all in its luminescence as whispers of reassurance floated through the air. Nothing will be lost, it seemed to promise. In every act of love, there is light. In every fear transformed into courage, there is a chance for healing, not just for one, but for many. The villagers glanced around, their faces flushed with a thrill of possibility. Each heart began to pound in rhythm with the sacred light, pulsing confidence into each soul. They were growing, blossoming like flowers breaking through the surface after a long winter. As they began to express their individual talents, the chorus of faith-filled voices echoed in the air. Dances sprang to life, and songs intertwined, lifting the spirit of their gathering to new heights. It was a symphony of revelation, a harmonious blend of creativity infused with divine energy flowing through them. But just as they began to feel invincible, a thought crossed Father Thomas's mind. Perhaps they weren't just creating art for themselves. Could it be the light they were capturing was not merely for expression, but for something deeper? "Let us dedicate this to those who seek healing," he proclaimed, the realization igniting within him like a flame. "This is not just about us anymore." At those words, the atmosphere thickened with purpose. What if their creations could spark transformation beyond their gathering? What if they could reach the hearts burdened by doubt and pain? The radiant light responded, flickering in excitement, urging them toward the next step. Father Thomas felt that they were on the brink of something monumental. What awaited them when they stepped out with their art? Would their faith touch lives beyond their own? The answers shimmered like distant stars, beckoning them onward into the grand adventure their faith was about to unfold. As the last echoes of Father Thomas's proclamation hung in the air, a gentle hush fell over the gathering. The villagers stood together, hearts beating in unison, a collective heartbeat fueled by passion and hope. It was in this quiet moment that each of them felt a shift. They were no longer just individuals. They were part of a vibrant tapestry woven together by the invisible thread of divine purpose. The harmonies of their songs wrapped around them like a warm blanket, igniting a sacred fire in their souls. Each note they sang seemed to ripple outwards, touching the fringes of the world beyond their village. With every dance step and brushstroke, they felt the weight of their mission, the calling to share the light that had breathed hope into their own hearts. Jenny returned, her paintbrushes glistening in the light. She squeezed her eyes shut, capturing the images that danced behind her eyelids. Glorious landscapes, laughter-filled gatherings, and scenes of healing surged in her mind. When she opened her eyes, a sense of fervor coursed through her veins. "I want to paint every moment, every prayer," she declared fervently. "These colors will burst forth with love and healing." Around her, others nodded fervently, their eyes bright with inspiration. Jacob had set to work on his canvas, the brush in his hand moving as if guided by a divine hand. With each sweep, he poured his heart into the creation, envisioning it as more than mere art. It was a vessel, a bridge between the sacred light within them and the hearts that longed to feel hope. One by one, Sarah and the others began to acknowledge the deep-seated fear within them. But rather than shying away, they chose to address it. "What if our work isn't good enough?" one villager whispered timidly. "But what if it is?" another countered, emboldened by the flicker of faith igniting inside. "What if this is the spark that ignites another's healing journey?" Father Thomas watched as courage replaced doubt in the villagers' hearts. The light around them flickered brighter, resilient against the fears pushing in on the edges. They lifted their heads higher, their chests swelling with purpose. Together, that small seed of faith blossomed into a garden of determination. "Today," Father Thomas spoke again, his voice steady and warm, "we shall take our gifts beyond our borders. We will travel to those who need light most. Our art will speak when words fail. It will be a soft whisper of God's love, echoing in hearts that long to know they are seen, they are loved." At his words, the villagers felt warmth envelop them. They squeezed hands, united by a shared purpose, a mission that transcended their fears. With intent, they began to discuss their plans, their excitement a melody that harmonized with the sacred light around them. Then a thought struck Jenny, and she turned to everyone with wide eyes. What if we made a place to gather others, a sanctuary of hope where they could create too? Her idea spread like wildfire, igniting dreams of healing that could reverberate through their community and beyond. As they immersed themselves in this vision, the energy shifted once more. The light danced higher, swirling around them, echoing their words, propelling their intentions. It was as if heaven opened its doors, bathing them in celestial warmth, urging them forward into the unknown. But just beyond the glowing horizon of their dreams, a heaviness hung in the air. Whispers of doubt still lingered, shadows lurking at the edges of their resolve. Could they truly reach those who needed healing? What obstacles would they face, and would they be strong enough to overcome them? With a deep breath, Father Thomas quieted the rising tide of apprehension. "Go forth, dear ones. This light is not ours to keep, but to share. We shall embark on this journey together, and in doing so, we shall be transformed." As they prepared for the next chapter of their mission, the villagers took a moment to breathe in the fragrance of hope and healing. What awaited them on the horizon? Would the fear still hovering around them be cast aside by their faith? A breeze swept through, whispering promises of revelation as the shadows quivered, ready to give way to the light. The adventure was just beginning, and the path ahead shimmered with mystery. The first rays of dawn broke over the village, painting the world in hues of gold and amber. Each dawn felt like a promise, a fresh start. As the villagers gathered, a sense of anticipation filled the air, electric yet peaceful. Today, they would begin their journey into the unknown. They stood in a circle, united, hands clasped, hearts open. Father Thomas raised his voice in prayer, asking for guidance and strength. "Lord, let our hearts be filled with your love. Grant us the courage to venture forth, to become vessels of your light." The sound of his words hung like incense in the air, rich and fragrant. Each villager felt a warmth spread through them, igniting a spirit of adventure. Jenny looked around at her friends. "Today it starts. Today we take our colors, our gifts, to where the light is needed most." Her voice rang with conviction, and around her, heads nodded fervently. They were ready. They could feel a shifting, like the air right before a rain shower. With each step away from the village, they tread upon the path of transformation. As they walked, they exchanged excited murmurs about the smiles they hoped to inspire and the hearts they wished to touch. Whatever lay ahead, their determination glowed as brightly as the sun rising in the sky. As they approached the outskirts of their village, a familiar face emerged from the trees, Martha, an elder known for her wisdom. The villagers stopped, surprised yet eager. "I've watched you from afar," she said, her voice soothing, "and I sense the spirit of the divine guiding you." A hush fell over them. "May I join your journey?" she asked gently, eyes twinkling with mischief and wisdom. They welcomed her eagerly, sensing she brought an added depth to their endeavor. It felt like the universe was affirming their mission by sending her. Not long into their walk, doubts began to trickle in. "What if we're not strong enough?" whispered Sarah as she checked her paint supplies. "What if no one understands our art?" murmured Jacob, a shadow crossing his features. Martha turned to them, wise words slipping from her lips like honey. "In our weakness, we are strongest when we rely on God's love. Remember, it is not about perfection, but sincerity. What matters is the heart behind the brushstroke." The group nodded, hearts lifted by her gentle encouragement. As they traveled further, the landscape shifted. Trees thickened, their leaves a jubilant green, almost dancing at the prospect of their journey. A child's laughter echoed from a nearby clearing, pulling them forward. The melodic sound beckoned like a divine call to their souls. They entered the clearing, and there sat a cluster of children, eyes wide, hands dirty with the earth. Their laughter shone brightly against the backdrop of uncertain times. "Come play with us," one of the children cried, joy spilling forth like sunshine. Inspired, Jenny knelt and pulled out her brushes, scattered colors across the canvas. "We've come to share light and love, and you can help us paint the world," she said, inviting them to join. As the children gathered around, the air became thick with laughter and vibrant energy. Every stroke of the brush seemed to awaken something within them, a sense of joy they had forgotten. Just then, as they painted, a flicker of movement caught Jacob's eye. A figure stood in the far distance, shrouded in shadow. Instinctively, he felt trepidation ripple through him. But with a steadying breath, he remembered Martha's reassuring words. Here they were, the light bearers, ready to show that healing takes many forms. As they finished their mural, bright and full of life, a hush fell over the group. They had transformed a barren space into a sacred celebration of hope and healing. But the shadowy figure remained, staring, watching. Who were they to judge? What would happen next? Would this encounter bring more questions than answers? In that moment of anticipation, they felt the wind shift again, carrying whispers of something yet to come. They had sparked a change, but what would the shadow reveal? The heart of their mission was unfolding, but what awaited them just beyond that shadow? The shadow loomed larger, more distinct with every hesitant heartbeat. Jacob felt a mix of curiosity and fear. He clutched his brush tighter, as if it were a sword against the unknown. The children, blissfully unaware of his turmoil, continued to giggle and swirl around Jenny, who was caught up in a moment of pure creativity. "Look at how beautiful it is," she explained, stepping back to appreciate their collective work. The mural was a riot of colors depicting love, hope, and laughter. It was a vivid representation of what they wished to share with the world. And yet, the figure hovered just outside their joy, a grim reminder of the shadows that often lurked in life. "What does that figure want?" Sarah whispered, her voice trembling slightly. The elders soon sensed the tension and turned to face the silhouette. "I believe," Martha started slowly, "that sometimes shadows are only that, shadows. They can be misleading, even blocking the light from our view. But it's also a reminder of our mission today, to bring warmth into the cold spaces of the world." The words hung in the air, mingling with the whispers of the trees and the laughter of the children. "Should we approach?" dared Jacob, his heart racing. Martha offered a gentle smile. Courage often lies in the willingness to step into the unknown. Taking a deep breath, Jenny led the charge. "Let's show them our joy," she declared, her voice bursting with determination. They walked towards the shadow, together, united in purpose. Their collective artistry seemed to pulse with life, glowing against the dimness of the figure ahead. As they drew nearer, the shadow stepped into the light, revealing a face lined with worry. It belonged to an older man, his clothes tattered and his eyes filled with a mixture of curiosity and fear. "Who are you?" the man asked, voice barely above a whisper, as if his very presence had long been ignored. "We come in peace," Jenny declared, her heart pounding with a blend of excitement and apprehension. "We are here to share our light through art and love. Would you like to join us?" For a moment, the man seemed taken aback. Surprise flickered in his eyes. I have not laughed in many years," he replied, a choked sound escaping his throat. As he spoke, there was a heaviness to his words, a history of sorrow that weighed him down. Martha stepped forward, her voice warm and inviting. "You do not have to carry that alone. We believe in healing, in the power of community. Let us show you that joy can still reside within you." The collective energy of the group surged. They began to circle around him, inviting him into their colorful space. "See what love can do?" Jacob chimed in, painting a bright blue stroke near the edge of the mural. "Join us. Let your story become part of this healing." The man hesitated, half caught in the glow of their colors, half in the dankness of his past. But as he glanced back at the joyful children and their eager smiles, something in him awakened. Just then, the wind picked up once more, rustling the leaves like a song of encouragement. They all turned to the shadowy figure. It now seemed less ominous, no longer an enemy, but a bridge. "Will you let us in?" murmured Sarah, taking a single step forward, as if to break the invisible barrier. The villager stood close to her, back straight and spirits high. In that moment, a flicker of hope sparked in the man's weary gaze. Maybe the shadows could be lifted. Maybe he could learn to laugh again. The air shimmered with the possibility of change. Would he step into their world of colors or remain hidden behind doubt and darkness? As the group stood there, hearts beating in anticipation, a flicker of light danced in the man's eyes. But a question lingered in the air that no one dared to voice. What if the shadows held more secrets than they anticipated? A transformation seemed imminent, yet the path ahead contoured with unknowns. Would their light be enough to guide him through? The moment stretched on, electric with hope and trepidation. The older man's eyes mirrored the uncertainty swirling around him. Could this vibrant group truly ignite a spark of joy within him? "Join us," Jenny urged softly, stepping even closer, her expression radiating warmth. "You don't have to hide anymore. Here, we want to share love. Here, laughter awaits." Collectively, they held their breath, waiting for a response. The children shifted on their feet, their innocence and trust shining bright. It was as if they sent ripples of light toward the man, encouraging him to let go of his burdens. Martha continued, her voice steady. Every brushstroke you make on this mural could tell a piece of your story. It could be a step toward healing. Together, we can create something beautiful that reflects all of us. The old man's heart tightened, but not for long. Something deep within him began to thaw. With each hopeful gaze from the children and each loving word from the villagers, he saw a glimpse of a world battling against sorrow, but filled with beauty. He took a shaky breath, then stepped forward, the shadows around him wavering like mist in the morning sun. "You really believe I would matter?" he asked, his voice louder now, tinged with vulnerability. "Yes," Jacob replied enthusiastically, eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "You're not just a shadow. You are a part of our community. All of us here have faced our own darkness at some point. You belong with us. Let's paint it together." With tentative fingers, the man reached out to the mural, letting the colors wash over him. His hand quivered as it brushed against the canvas. A wave of warmth enveloped him, as if the very act of touching their creation poured life into his tired soul. Suddenly, a gust of wind swirled around them, gently lifting the leaves from the ground and sending them dancing into the air. It felt as if nature itself celebrated this moment, a divine reminder that growth often springs from persistent love. Little by little, the man's fear began to peel away, revealing the worn yet captivating spirit beneath. He dipped his fingers into the vibrant paint, mixing colors as those children cheered him on. Each stroke felt like a release, an unburdening that was not only welcomed, but greatly needed. As the mural began to bloom with new colors, joy intertwined with something deeper, healing. The laughter he thought he'd lost bubbled up, surprising him. It emerged from that long-hidden place, bright and raw, like a seed unfurling in the spring. Suddenly, he looked around at the assembled village, brooding bright in vibrancy. Every person held a sparkle of divine light, an illumination fueled by shared faith and resilience. "Can you feel it?" Sarah barely whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. "This is what love does. This is what spirit does. It makes the shadows dance away." In the heart of that moment, hope transformed into an anchor. The man surveyed his surroundings anew, the edges of his isolation softening as he connected with the joyous energy enveloping him. As the mural grew, so did he, each color a testament to God's unfailing grace, each stroke a whisper of love. Yet, even in the midst of this divine encounter, a small tremor raced through him. Will this truly last? He pondered, almost silently. What if shadows return? The children's laughter echoed around, crafting memories of light, but within him, doubt still flickered. It was a question that couldn't be ignored. Would this new path be lasting? Would he have the courage to walk it when the shadows drifted back? With hearts racing and spirits lifted, they all stood before the vivid mural, not quite knowing what the next step would hold. What awaited them in this journey of healing? Would they find a way to weave light through every shadow? With hands stained by vibrant hues, they prepared for the next brushstroke in their collective story. With renewed courage blooming in his heart, the man looked around, his eyes settling on the lively mural coming to life with each stroke. It wasn't just paint. It was an outpouring of their shared stories, hopes, and fears. Each swipe of the brush felt like a prayer, a plea to the Creator to heal old wounds and reignite extinguished dreams. As he continued to paint, he felt an overwhelming wave of gratitude wash over him. The laughter and encouragement from the children wrapped around him like a cloak, reinforcing the bond that had been built in those sacred moments. Strangers were becoming family, and within this collective spirit, he sensed something deep and transformative. "Let's make it brighter here," Jenny called, dashing over, her enthusiasm contagious. "How about some yellow?" She dipped her own fingers into a golden hue, splattering streaks of light beside the old man's work. "Yellow," he echoed, laughter spilling from his lips, shaking off the dust of loneliness. For the first time, he was reminded that colors of joy were not only in canvases, but also in hearts. But then, like a sudden chill on a warm day, the prickling thought returned. What if the doubts came creeping back? What if shadows replaced the vibrance they'd so desperately fought for? As if sensing his turmoil, Martha approached him, her presence calming. "You're painting your hope," she said softly. "But remember, healing isn't always a straight path. Sometimes it's spiraled, like the vines that grow up the old oak trees. There will be seasons, both bright and dark. It's how we hold on to the light that matters." He glanced towards the children playing nearby, their laughter spilling into the air, lifting the weight of his heart. "How do I hold on to it when I know darkness can return?" "By sharing it," Martha replied, her eyes shining with wisdom. "Every time you reach out to help someone else, you nurture the light within you. It's like faith, made strong when shared. Trust that he's got you." Her words sank in, tiptoeing right into his soul. Perhaps holding on to light meant embracing not just his own healing, but also the healing of others he might touch along the way. The concept of community unveiled itself as the true foundation, the divine web of interconnection woven by love and faith. The group became buoyed by that revelation. The mural was not just a personal expression, it was a testament to their shared humanity. They painted alongside each other, blending colors, sharing stories, and gradually uncovering their unique truths beneath layers of care and acceptance. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink that turned vibrant on their canvas, the old man took a step back to admire the mural. It was more than a painting. It was a collective heart laid bare, echoing the gospel of love in every hue. "I never knew it could feel like this," he said, voice trembling with emotion. "To be connected, to belong." The team of painters exchanged knowing glances, the kind that spoke without words. "You've always belonged," Jacob whispered, smiling. And just like that, as the last rays of sunlight kissed the mural, whispers of something greater filled the air. A sense of divine anticipation surrounding their work. Hope began to breathe life into every corner of their spirits, and he realized that doubts turned into questions were part of the journey toward unwavering faith. Yet, as the vibrant colors beckoned them into the night, a soft wind swept through the village, stirring something deeper within him, something that felt both daunting and exhilarating. What happens when the colors fade at dusk, he thought, apprehension mingling with excitement. Would their efforts still shine brightly when the shadows lengthened? Little did he know, too, that their true test was just beginning, with discoveries that awaited them in the deepest corners of their hearts. What revelations lay in the night ahead? What miracles bloomed in the dark? Would they find a way to hold fast to their light through every shadow? As the sun dipped below the horizon, a serene stillness blanketed the village of St. Peter's. The mural stood triumphant, capturing the laughter, joy, and newfound hope of the villagers. They gathered close, eyes wide with anticipation, their hearts resonating with the power of their joint creation. But shadows still lingered in the corners of their minds. The old man, newly emboldened yet vulnerable, felt unease at the edge of his consciousness. What now, he pondered. Can this feeling last? Before he could resolve his inner storm, Father Thomas stepped forward, his presence steadying. Tonight, my friends, we need to acknowledge our fears, just as we celebrate our triumphs. His voice resonated, carrying the weight of his faith and the dreams shared among them. The villagers, still buzzing with excitement, quieted down as they took in his words. Martha chimed in, her voice soft yet powerful. Fear is just part of the journey. Every one of us has faced the shadows we are afraid of. But when we share, when we create together, we turn those shadows into stories of light. Eyes began to glimmer, hearts were warmed anew by her truth. Let this mural be a testament not just to what we have created, but to what we will continue to build together, she added. Jacob stepped in, his enthusiasm painting every word with light. And let's not only keep this energy here, we will take our mural and our joy into every corner of our lives. When shadows threaten, let our art remind us of where we've been and where we're going. A hush fell again as they contemplated the weight of those words, the acknowledgement of life's journey, the intertwining of victory and vulnerability. There were still mountains ahead, but as they sang a new song together, it echoed throughout the clearing, stirring hearts. I want to share with others, Sarah declared, her eyes fiery with conviction. Together, we can bring more to the wall of our community, tales of healing, resilience, and love. Let's create a safe space for everyone to express themselves. No one should feel alone in their darkness. The villagers nodded, spirits soaring higher as the moon rose above them, shimmering down with resolve. They imagined a sanctuary, a place where laughter and tears could coexist, where each voice would be cherished and fear transformed into beauty through creativity. Let us build that space, Father Thomas announced, vision igniting within their hearts. A refuge where art meets the soul, a venture that will cast additional light into our world. When we step into the shadows, we are bearing witness to the transformative power of faith. As enthusiasm rippled through the crowd, the old man found his voice stronger now. "I wish to help," he said, his tremor replaced with determination. Each heartbeat in that gathering felt connected, unified by purpose. They started exchanging ideas, buzzing with inspiration. Growth ignited their souls. Maybe they could have nights of storytelling, workshops bursting with color, exhibitions of dance. A spark ignited in Jacob's eyes. What if we brought people together from all walks of life, different stories, different backgrounds, to create art that reflected our community? Yes, the children echoed, their joy infectious. We'll paint our world together. As ideas flowed, the presence of the radiant figure above them, now looming over the mural like a guardian angel, glimmered with affirmation. Suddenly, a chill breeze swept through the clearing. "What if they laugh at us?" the old man murmured, slipping back into doubt, feeling that familiar weight of uncertainty. "What if they reject our light?" "Remember," Martha spoke gently, "it's not about them. It's about us growing through it all. Art is an invitation, a light that beckons those who seek it. If they see it and feel it, they will join." Her words lifted the spirits around them. An understanding settled. In faith, uncertainty often walked side by side with courage. Through this artful venture, they would learn to trust, to express, and to stand together, painting their lives with intention. As they began to outline plans, vibrant ideas came alive in the night sky. Drawn by the sheer momentum of their collective faith, the villagers leaned toward a thrilling future, a beacon of colorful healing they would carry into the world. Father Thomas, watching the joy unfold, felt a stirring within. Let this be a movement, one that creates a ripple of hope through our village and beyond. Stories of triumph, whispers of healing, and echoes of laughter. Together we rise. That night, under a moon glowing with purpose, the villagers bathed in an energy so alive they could feel the pulse of community thrumming like music, an unwavering declaration of faith. What awaited them at dawn? What transformations would be birthed under the canopy of this new moon? Only time would unfold the chapters ahead as they embraced all colors of faith, knowing the shadows held no dominion over the vibrant tapestry they were destined to weave. And as they leaned into that anticipation, hearts beating as one, they realized darkness could not prevail where love and creativity resided. Each brushstroke offered a glimpse of divine reality waiting to unfold. ready to weave more stories of light into the fabric of their lives. A narrative enriched by every moment, just waiting to be shared. And now, my friends, it's time for you to step into your divine journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Show your support. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait even one more second to share this message of faith. Let it ripple through your world like a beacon of light. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel with your actions. Let's spread the love.